another Generation 2 Plasticon review! Woo! As the Autobots start helping out with repairs in Chicago, things are going smoothly. As Optimus Prime checks in along with Bumblebee to see how their progress is going. Suddenly, their progress is interrupted by Devastator. Devastator starts having his way with the entire that's trying to rebuild this poor city. As Optimus Prime looms into the viewfinder, seeing what is going on, he calls on the train bots. When the train bots arrive, they begin to transform and turn into Raiden. Raiden looks down at Optimus, and Optimus looks up and says, "Go and take care of Devastator before the city is destroyed." As Devastator looms and destroys the city, Raiden just steps into his way. As Raiden scowls at Devastator, the battle is about to commence. The fate of Chicago is in your hands. Generation 2 Transformers, brought to you by Hasbro. Some assembly required, vehicles and figures sold separately. Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover Generation 2 train bots. When I mean train bots, I mean Raiden. Yeah, these guys, the Japanese dudes. So, yeah, we're going to start out with King, or Kane, the diesel locomotive. He is very silver and very red. Gigantic Autobot logo right there in the middle of the locomotive itself. This thing's got some pretty decent detail throughout the entire thing. I really do like this. It's very cool. It's got almost a orangish color going on here with this. It's kind of a bit between a red and orange. I do like this color. This is nice silver all the way through the top and through the bottom, and then some black bits here along with the sticker here for combining mode. It's very cool. I do like him. These guys aren't too terribly hard to transform, so let's go ahead and get into that one real quick. Here's Keen in his robot mode, and he is a very, very little stumpy kind of guy. He is almost one of the tallest, but he really doesn't look like much. He's got these nice little wiggly arms here. Head doesn't rotate or anything, but you know, for coming out of the tail end of Generation 1 into G2, this guy is awesome. I love this G2 guy. He just fits the bill, and he's also a very, very nice looking robot next to coming out of pretty much like a long block of a train. Anyhow, let's move on to the next one. Moving on to the next one is Suie. Suie is a smaller diesel locomotive. More or less looks more like an electric car. But he's a really, really neat looking passenger type of locomotive. This is something you more likely see pulling subway vehicles. It's got a nice G2 logo right there on top. It's got this nice blue going on with a bit of a silver and yellow going on here. Very cool. Not any real headlight detail here picked out, but it's got some really decent sculpting. Looks pretty neat. He's kind of flat and bland here on the back, but I mean, there's a reason for this. I'll show that to you later. I do like what he looks like. He's not too bad. He's got these nice little rolling wheels all the way throughout, and he works pretty well. Anyhow, let's go into that robot mode, shall we? Sizing in his robot mode, and he really pulls it off very successfully. Looks more like a robot with wings on the back, especially with this cab portion that splits in half and sticks onto the back. This is a running theme with these guys, so if you're not a big fan of backpacks on robots, then this might not be the guy for you. But he's got a nice G2 logo going on right there, along with this decent little head sculpt up in here. Lots of sculpting detail throughout the entire body, along with these little arms. It does look really, really cool, and it's kind of neat how the back of the train just becomes feet. It does have a bit of a waist swivel, but with the backpack attached, because it plugs directly in this hole here, kind of gets in the way of that. Kind of interesting he actually has a waist swivel, especially for his size. Let's move on to the next one. Next one in line is Suie King. Suie King is another little electric locomotive. Something you would see pulling passenger cars and or subway type. This would be more of a workhorse design. To me, it doesn't seem like it'd be as lightweight as the previous one. It does actually have some really, really cool panel-like detail going on here with the blue stripe going along around the windows, around the base, and even like this kind of striping going on right here, right next to the front lights. Speaking of front lights, he does happen to have 6. Nothing really picked out here, but he does have a major big center light here that is obviously molded plastic instead of paint. It looks very, very cool. I do like it. I love all the interesting parts here on top where it just shows where maybe like the motors will be venting out and such. Very cool. I do like this little guy in his yellow and blue form, but let's go to that robot mode, shall we? Robot mode. He is really, really cool. I do like the way he turned out. He is awesome. He has a lot of blue kind of reveals here in his little chest, and he has a G2 emblem right there, because considering, you know, it comes off the top. I like how these are like gigantic wings on the back, this backpack thing. It'd be almost like jet boosters or something. I do like his face sculpt though. He's got a really, really cool looking face sculpt. Like I mentioned, the normal articulation on the arms, and the lack of a waist roll because of that. But turned out pretty cool. Anyhow, let's go on to the next one. Moving on to the next one is Yuki K's. Yuki K's is a little bullet train. Very orange bullet train. It's got this nice blue going on throughout it. Very cool. Lots of detail picked out on this side. Some decent detail up top with the nice little G2 logo hanging out right there. Very, very cool. I love the little orange or yellow nose cone going on here. These always reminded me of an airplane on wheels. I do like bullet trains. Bullet trains are cool. I do like this little locomotive. This is definitely something that would be pulling passengers. It would not be pulling any kind of freight. It's just too quick for that. Anyhow, let's go ahead and go into that transformation thing, right? In his robot mode, and he looks like he's wearing orange pajamas. I do like this. Very cool how the silver just kind of pops out on the front, so it does kind of give him a little bit of separation. He does have some pretty decent arm swirl going on here along with this in and out motion due to transformation, but it works pretty well. Decent little head sculpt in there too. I love the idea that he has a little bit of articulation here, not a lot. He can move his head back and forth. Nice G2 logo going on here. Just this orange just really pops for him. I do like Yuki K's. He's pretty cool. Anyway, let's move on to that next one. Next one in line is Getsui. Yes, Getsui. Because he gets to sue. I don't know. Here's Getsui and his great little electric locomotive. It's got a very chrome look going on here. Very bronzy. Do like him. It's got a very nice bit of silver here on top along with that G2 logo. A little bit of yellow here kind of picked out, and he actually does have detail on both ends, which is kind of odd for this, but I can understand. That's probably where, you know, he can either be the front of the locomotive or the rear of the locomotive. But there is a reason for this, so I will be showing this soon. I do like the detail. The detail is very prominent throughout the entire train. All the molding is just beautiful. I do like this a lot on this train. Big fan of train bots, if you hadn't noticed. Anyhow, let's go ahead and go into that robot mode, shall we? Getsui in his robot mode, and he looks very bronzy and very brown, kind of like that copperish hue going on throughout the entire thing. Very cool. I do like him a lot. He's got a really nice little head sculpt going on here, along with very, very wiggly arms. He's got a bit of silver here kind of picked out here on the chest, along with the G2 logo right there. Obviously a large backpack on the back. These backpacks do come off though if you don't really want them on there when you actually have them in robot mode, but I tend to do this for storage because I don't like to lose any of the bits to the train. There's a little bit of a sticker detail here on the back, here and here. Not a lot. He does look very, very cool, and I do like him a lot. Anyhow, let's move on to that last one. Last but not least is Shoki. Yuki is the leader of the group, a very silver bullet train. This is blue, goes straight throughout the entire bottom, and that's about all he really needs other than the nice little orange nose cone thing. Like I said before, it looks more like an airliner on wheels. I do like him a lot. There is a reason why there's several holes here on the side. I mean, it would have been cool if they were able to fill them up, but it's kind of hard to do, especially considering this guy's very tiny and he is a combiner. I do like the idea that they did a lot of molded detail throughout the entire top. Would have been cool to see these maybe flip in, but considering the design, I get it. Nice G2 logo right there. And he just looks really, really cool. Anyhow, enough of this silver train alt mode. Let's go ahead and go into that robot, shall we? Here's Shoki in his robot mode, and he's very short and stumpy in stature compared to the rest of them. He is the shortest, but he is also the most bulky. Although Kane gives him a bit of run for his money, he does actually have some very good detail that comes out. Decent sticker detail here, along with a little bit here on the chest. Does have a bit of a sticker detail here, not much here on the other shoulder. He does have a real nice head sculpt. I do like him. Does have the gigantic backpack syndrome, and he's probably the worst to try to stand up. He does not like to stand up very well. But you can remove the backpack, and he tends to stand okay after you take the backpack off. It's just this backpack is pretty heavy. It gives him some nice little wings and makes him a little more stoic, considering, you know, he is the leader. But he's very, very cool. Anyhow, let's move on to another thing that these guys tend to do, alright? Now, starting out with the first one, Shoki, putting them back into train mode. As my autofocus goes friggin' crazy here. They have a little gimmick here that requires these little bitty clips. Now these clips can't be like held anywhere in their alt modes, unfortunately. But take these little clips here and you plug them here onto the back. They'll hold pretty well. And then what you'll do, because obviously he's a train, you'll take the front portion of the next one, whichever one you want really, except for the other bullet train, because there's a bullet train at the end of each one. Just gotta be kind of careful when you do this, but you can clip them together successfully. And then you got a choo-choo train, because that's what they do. And just keep going along here and you'll end up having them all attached. It's kind of funny because you would think he would go toward the end, but he wouldn't. I recommend, if you're going to do this though, to kind of prep the next car as you're doing this. Now there is a space in between, and that space in between is that way the plastic can flex on these clips. I do not suggest trying to shove one in here, because then you might bring them closer together, but it just doesn't work the way it should. I'm going to plug this in here. I'm going to plug this one into here. Now the thing is, there is no turning a corner with this idiot and putting these guys together like this. But it's really cool to be able to display this entire thing in its full-on connected mode on a shelf, or maybe in Autobot City if you want to. Kane here unfortunately has to lose the front portion of the train because there's no way to actually connect this to the rest of it. He does have two little guns here. And this is, like I said, just primarily just for the gimmick portion. You know, Transformers are full of gimmicks, and this happens to be one of the coolest I've ever seen. And then you obviously take the last one and play it here onto the back. And there you go, you've got a long train, and it looks pretty cool. I recommend, if you do this, to be careful. It does come with 6 of these little clips, so when you do try to get one, these are very difficult to come by in the aftermarket. These are like next to impossible to find. So keep that in mind when you're out there looking for such things. Along with him being part of the Generation 1 line going into G2, he comes with a lot of assorted parts. The main superstructure to this right here is the front end to Kane, when he's actually combined into long robot mode, or long train mode, not robot, train. Only the chest piece kind of plugged on with this backpack assortment here, and it makes a really, really cool little foundry. Not to mention, I built a glider out of the other parts, so that way, you know, they have maybe a little bit of air reconnaissance or something like that going on along with these guys. I do like the idea that you can combine these parts kind of any way you want, but this is what I came up with out of these bits. Now there are 2 extra fists that come with him, but unfortunately there's no real place to put them. But I can find. But anyhow, let's go ahead and go into that combination robot mode, shall we? Raiden in his robot mode. Combined together, he actually looks really cool. It does look like a bunch of train parts thrown together, and that's primarily what he is. He's probably one of the more delicate ones of all the Generation 2 combiners, or any combiner in general. Primarily because a lot of the fitment normally just like kind of plugs into place, and that's about where it goes. It does not have a lot of articulation. All you really can do is move his arms forward and backward, and that's it. You don't get any head movement, you don't get any leg movement, none of that. But he still looks really cool. The color just really pops and combines together just fine, and it does look like a cohesive group. Although some people might think, oh, it looks like a gigantic train or a bunch of trains got into a wreck. Well, it works, and that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. Anyhow, this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another Generation 2 review, and I'll see you guys around, because I have more coming your way. See you around. Bye!